So how are we going to use the model? We're essentially going to do comparative statistics. We're going to start with an initial point, unless in this case it's A, where the consumer is buying and maximizing bundle of Y1 and X1, and say, well, what happens if this happens? So what if the price of X increases? What happens? Well, you first have to say, well, where is the price of X? If you remember, the price of X is on the budget line, and that is on the intercept. The price of X increases, the M over PX intercept is going to change. That means that the budget line is going to move in this direction like this, if the price of Y doesn't change. So now that you model the change, is anything else going to change? Probably not. Everything else stays the same. So if nothing else is in the shape of the difference curve is going to change, no, the value the person has for X and Y doesn't change if the price of X changes. So that is all that is going to change. So now what's going to is the consumer going to be able to consume A? Well, probably not, because now with the new budget line, the consumer cannot afford to buy that bundle. So therefore, the consumer will have to move to an indifferent curve that is closer to, or that is tangent to the new lower budget line. So so there's probably another indifference curve here. Remember that this map is full of indifference curve, and there's probably another indifference curve with the same shape that is just tangent to this new budget line. Let's call that I3. So this is going to be the new consumption of this consumer. Now notice that the consumer is going to buy less X and less Y as a result of this decrease in X. Okay, so now let's do a new case. Let's say this consumer is consuming at A. What happens if the price of Y decreases? Well, if the price of Y decreases, what's going to change? Again, it's going to be the budget line, and that means that the consumer will be able to buy more Y if he spends all or her money on Y. So now the budget line is going to look kind of like that. Well, imagine that that's a straight line. Let's redraw it again because it was pretty not correct. Well, that's almost not even better. Imagine that's a straight line. That's the new budget line, assuming the price of Y goes down. Well, would the consumer continue to consume A? Well, no, because now the consumer can probably move to an indifference curve that is to the right of that one, and that actually gives this consumer more satisfaction. Let's call that I2. That is a new tangent point. And notice that what the consumer is going to do here is it's going to shift some of its consumption from X to Y, and it's going to make herself better off. So that makes sense. When the price of Y decreases, the consumer switches consumption from X to Y. So this is essentially how we're going to use the model. With more difficult problems is comparative statistics. So you start with a point, and then you ask what if, and then you try to evaluate what changes in the model and what is the new equilibrium point, and then compare.